suggestion to Duke was change the ending. Astonished, Wayne, who played Davy Crockett in the picture, said, "Mickey, we can't change the ending. It's the Alamo." Mickey's response was, "Nobody wants to pay $2 to watch a bunch of Mexicans kill John Wayne." However un-PC Mickey's critique might be, he had a point. The disappointing returns on the Wayne-directed Alamo were the downfall of the actor's Batjack production company. Wayne embarked on a succession of highly successful pictures, starting with North to Alaska that same year, but for producers other than himself. Which is why the screenplay Mickey wrote for Wayne and Batjack was never produced. Apparently, no money ever changed hands. Written around 1959, the screenplay finds the famous mystery writer drawing upon the Print the Legend West of John Ford and Howard Hawks, set in fictional Trinidad, New Mexico, in the early 1880s. It's easy to imagine rolling into a movie theater in the late 50s or early 60s and seeing Caleb York's saga unfold. You are free to picture John Wayne as the stranger who rides into town, though that's hardly a requirement. At Batjack, Wayne produced films starring Glenn Ford, Robert Mitchum, and, of course, Mickey Spillane. The great Batjack production, 7 Men From Now, 1956, represented a Burt Kennedy script Wayne sent to Randolph Scott, initiating the much-admired series of Scott westerns, directed by Bud Bottacher, several others of which were also written by Kennedy. Cast the hero here as you'd like, in the movie theater of your mind. Both Wayne and Scott would work fine, but who knows? Maybe Batjack would have hired Ford, or Mitchum, or perhaps Joel McCrea or Audie Murphy. Remember, there are no budgetary concerns for the reader. Nor does the passage of time prevent you from casting this as you like. Maverick-era James Garner? No problem. Sam Elliott? Good choice. Gary Cooper? You can afford him, too. Both Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef are available in the bijou of the brain. So is an idealized version of yourself, which was how Mickey always wanted readers to envision Mike Hammer. So I'll leave you with Mickey's words, which he often inscribed in books he signed to fans he described as his customers. Have fun. Max Allan Collins. Chapter 1. Everybody called it Boot Hill, but there was no hill about it, not even a rise on the flat, dusty ground just off the rutted road half a mile out of Trinidad, New Mexico. The spot had been chosen because of a resilient mesquite tree that provided some color and shade, but this scrubby patch of earth otherwise had nothing to recommend it. For serving a town of less than 300, this was a well-populated cemetery, wooden crosses clustered with the occasional flat tombstones popping up like road markers. On this April morning, a breeze flapped hat brims and bandanas into flags and stirred dust into foot-hugging ghosts. Like diffident mourners, distant buttes lurked, turned to light rust color by a sun still on the rise, faces of their steep cliffs sorrowful with the dark shadows of erosion. Willa.Cullen, her father's only daughter, only offspring, by right should have worn a Sunday dress, its hem weighted down with sewn-in buckshot to fight the wind. But she was in a red plaid shirt and denim trousers and boots with stirrup-friendly heels, the kind of work clothes worn by the handful of her papa's ranch hands that could be spared to attend the small, sad graveside service for Bud Meadow. Reverend Caldwell from Trinidad's church, Missionary Baptist, presided over this congregation of half a dozen cowhands, their boss, his daughter, and a dead boy in a pine box in its fresh hole. No townsfolk were present. No surprise, really. Nobody knew Bud very well. He'd drifted in looking for work. Papa had given it to him, and come first pay, end of the month, Bud had gotten himself shot outside the Victory Saloon. Trinidad had a reputation for looking the other way when cowhands came in on those particular Friday nights. It became routine for any business, save the Victory, the 2 restaurants, and the barber shop, to board up their windows till the boys got it out of their systems. In front, the affected businesses just stacked the lumber up under the windows along the boardwalks. But Bud had mouthed off to the sheriff, and the sheriff had shot him down in the street. Funny how only the Cullen cowhands seemed to wind up that way. Half a dozen were already buried here on Boot Hill. Now among them was a meadow, planted, but never to blossom.